Hi, I'm Sylvia, and this is Bo from A Place to Be. And I just wanted to add something to my blog post about natural intelligence. The blog post is called Bo Feels Her Way Through Life, and you can read about that in the blog post. I put the link underneath. But what I wanted to add is a little story about myself, because when I was born, they said that my hip was not positioned right, like it was out of the hip socket. And what they did was put me in these pants that kept my legs apart, and obviously I didn't like that, so I tried bring them together, and then they put me into these metal pants, and they kept my legs apart day and night for 1 year, for the first year of my life, which meant that I never crawled. So I did use my arms and just drag my legs around. My dad says I climbed up anything, like cupboards and tables, whatever I wanted to climb, I did, just using my arms, but my legs were just paralyzed, basically. So my husband, Rob, he worked as a physical therapy for Chelsea Football Club, and he knows a lot about the body and the mind. And when Bo was born, because I said it's hereditary. When she was a tiny baby, we saw that she was only moving one leg. So I was getting a little bit worried, and I talked to my parents about it, and they said, yeah, it's hereditary. Maybe you go check, with a doctor, which I did. And that was, it doesn't matter where it was. It was in Mexico, but it doesn't matter. They probably would have told me that wherever we were. So the lady said yes. So I can see, and I can, measuring it. She needs to be in those pants. And I was torn between, it's not really nice for her, it's maybe not the right thing to do, but what do I know? And my parents did it, and I turned out okay. I've been always very active. I could always do sports, but I can see it in my legs or my knees. They're not kind of straight. Everything's kind of positioned a bit funnily, and my husband, who knows about bodies, he can tell what's wrong with my legs. Even though I do all sort of sports, it limits me. It keeps me from reaching my full potential and making things easier for me in sports, and in certain, like in jiu-jitsu, in certain positions, and using my hips and my legs. And so when I told Rob that the doctor said we need to put on those pants, he said absolutely not, never, over my dead body. We're gonna strap her. Like, the body knows best, it will handle it, and everything will be fine. So after a few weeks, months, we saw that Bo was starting to crawl, and she was using more and more of that leg that wasn't moving so much. And then, after many months, she was crawling normally at 6 months. Then at a year, she was walking, and then she started running, and now she's perfectly fine. We never needed to use those pants. And what I realized were two things lately. One, it's like the most traumatizing thing that you can imagine: somebody forcing your legs apart. No matter for how long, whether it's a few minutes, no matter for what reason, and no matter at what age. So as a baby, there's no way the baby can understand why somebody is forcing the legs apart. Really, my legs were here. They weren't like this, they weren't there. And experiencing this from like the day I was born for the first year of my life was very traumatizing. And these traumas are still carried around with us. Like, in my age, I'll be 40 now, and what Rob is saying to me now is, you need to start to crawl. So I'm going to start practicing the normal crawling. So I'll be 40 this year, and I'm just starting to crawl. This developmental stage that I needed for a correct and like the best development for me, I never got that. I never received it. So I'm starting now. And then the second thing is that you can apply this to anything with the children. When you interfere too much, if you impose something that their natural intelligence will do no matter what, then you're keeping them from using their natural intelligence and going through this developmental stage. So it's not just with physical things, it's with anything, telling them too much, giving them the answers to things, helping them, taking things over, like, okay, let me do that, I see you're struggling with this, let me do it for you, or no, you can't, you're too young, or too whatever, or I know best. So whenever you step in, you're keeping the child from using their physical, their natural intelligence to go through this developmental stage that is super, super important. And it's most of the times when we interfere, it's just not necessary. And when we do it too much and too often, it's actually very damaging and hindering them from developing into their full potential. So get out of the kids' way, stop doing things for them, don't strap them into metal pants. And even the little things, just let them play around with things, let them make mistakes, let them find their way, find solutions, and they'll be fine.